Before we get started, just a quick note, spoiler alert.
And we are adults, and I will try very hard not to use adult language, but this is the warning.
Hello, welcome to Fright Bites. My name is Jennifer.
And I'm Sadina. Each episode we will feature a short story or novella. You can read along with us by finding the full reading list posted on our website, lastlibraryonTheLeft.com, or our social media at LL Podcast. I don't know why I blanked. It's on the paper right here in front of me. Whatever, it's fine.
It's because we're in person for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And now I have the giggles because we're in person.
Well, before we get started, because once we get started, there's no stopping this episode. It's just going to get off the rails real fast for me. But before that happens, I wanted to give you your birthday present early.
My birthday's October 28th, y'all.
Yes, and she almost didn't get it because my baby sister was like, this is mine now. And I was like, bitch, just reorder what I just bought on Amazon. But anyway.
Okay, I'm going to open it now. Okay. Oh, I thought I did it. No. I thought I did it. I didn't do it. Here we go. Wait, what is it? What is it?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you while you're in the middle of opening it.
And the box is not... Wait, I just see... Whoa! Wait. Is it a wine holder?
Yes!
Oh my gosh, this is so cool! Wait, I want to open it, but...
You gotta pull that tab in the front first.
Whoa. And I was wondering, one day Sadina texted me and she's like, dragon something or something.
Dragon Raven or something else.
And I was like, dragon always. Thank you.
You're welcome. I literally hit click buy.
So which one does Nadine want?
I think Nadine wants the dragon one too. I actually am getting the raven for myself.
Yeah. This is so cool. It's like a dragon drinking his baby wine.
Yeah.
So cute. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My Scorpioness thanks you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess we'll get on with this show, and Sadina will be very red. Y'all can't see it, but I'll keep you up to date with a play-by-play. Today we are talking about the book, The Monster of Elendhaven, by Jennifer... Oh, I forgot to look up her last name.
Giesbrecht.
Okay, by Jennifer Giesbrecht. It was published in 2019 by none other than Tor.com. And the summary reads, the city of Elendhaven sulks on the edge of the ocean, racked by plague, abandoned by the south, stripped of industry, and left to die. But not everything dies so easily. A thing without a name stalks the city, a thing shaped like a man, with a dark heart, and long pale fingers yearning to wrap around throats. A monster who cannot die. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Because I'm getting giddy every time. This book, y'all. Oh, man. Okay, how do we start?
Okay, so I will go ahead and start out, though. Before it got to be really...
Hold on a second. Oh, the door's messing up. She was motioning for...
It was opening and closing by itself again. That's what she was motioning.
That's been happening since the beginning of October. Our sliding door is got a life of its own, and it's been opening and shutting with no rhyme or reason. And I thought it was my ex who had passed away just fucking with me. But maybe it's the library ghost, because I told you there's something here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Don't let me take nothing home.
Of course this would happen while we're recording. Okay, back to the book.
Yes. So I will go ahead and say that starting it off, because before I got enraptured by this book and completely taken in by the romance story versus the murder spree, shockingly. The very first thing that really got me, the monster, Johann, it starts off with his youth, the first memories he has, which is being abandoned on the streets in Elendhaven. And having just the worst luck. I mean, he's sexually assaulted, he kills the guy, he is starving, and he comes to realize at a very young age that power was sweeter than apples, it was cheaper than water, and sustained the soul twice as well. And I was like, yes. And so I thought this was going to be, I don't know what I thought this was. It was not what it was.
I thought it was going to be a revenge story. Because it started off so strong.
And I mean, it was a revenge story.
Yeah.
But it was also very much a love story. Kind of.
It started off as a revenge story,
yes.
I think. And then halfway through, we got that effing twist.
Yes.
And it was no longer a revenge story.
Yeah, it was weird because it started out as a revenge story, became a love story, and then became a burn the system down story.
Yeah. Oh, so good, though.
Yeah, so
good.
And with such few pages, it's my favorite book out of the entire list. And I have the hardback copy at home. I should probably buy a second one so I can just highlight it and have a deep dive into my own psyche. because I need to figure out what's wrong.
Save that for your therapist.
My next note is that it is gay, it has dark humor, it has murder, and it is not subtle, and I am here for all of it.
Yeah. Let me just stand for a moment for Johan, because I love a good villain, and he played himself out to be a villain from the very get-go.
Unapologetic.
Yeah, and I just stand for that, because I really liked him. He was just very, I was about to say attractive.
See, you mock me for this book, and yet here you are. Y'all, she found fan art, and now she's here on the same soapbox with me.
The fan art was so good. Johan was the best. I stand for him, and I will always stand for him. I purchased this book afterwards. I got this from the library, but I ended up purchasing it.
Same. He's very, I don't even know if you can call it revenge in the very, very beginning, because he's really just killing people because he can.
Yeah.
It's how he gets by as what you assume is a street urchin. He's murderous and gleeful about it, and he's good at it, too.
Yeah.
He's real good at it. But he winds up taking a fall off of the cliffs and surviving. And he was like, there's a whole new layer to my murder now.
He was so lovable.
He was so pleased, whereas I feel like most people would have been like, oh shit, what was that?
Yeah.
And he was like, I could do more with my murder now. I was like, okay. Sure.
I loved how insane he was. He was almost Joker-like.
Yes, he was.
And I think that's why I like him, because I like Heath Ledger's Joker so much because of the chaos.
Johan definitely embodied a lot of chaos. But then, one day, he's out on the street, and he sees this, I think he even calls him a dandy, but this very well-to-do dressed man. And he's like, that's a good mark. But then he doesn't rob him immediately.
No.
Which you get the feeling is not his MO. Normally he'd be like, that's the mark, you're dead now.
Right, yeah. He knew what he was going to do. He did it, moved on. And he stopped with Florian. Yeah,
with Florian, he was in the shadows, and he was like, but what if I just watch him for a while? And then he's like, but what if I just stalk him for a while? But what if I I'm going to go pretend to mug him and threaten him. So this is how they first met. Johan attempts to mug. He doesn't. He's put it on a show for the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I think this whole time he's been stalking him, he's been, how can I get closer to him? And he goes to mug Florian in a dark alleyway. And Florian, by the way, is not plussed. He's like, whatever. It's okay. If you're going to kill me, kill me. And Johan is so taken aback. He was like, wait, what? And I don't know if he was mad or turned on, and I don't know if Johan knows that either.
Yeah, I think Florian knows, but Johan doesn't.
Yes. And so he convinces Florian that because Florian is he doesn't necessarily flaunt his wealth.
Right.
But he is very much a target. And Johan is like, I saw you as a target, but I'll work for you.
Yeah.
If you keep me.
Florian is very old money.
Yes, Florian is very old money. Florian's family, there was a plague in Elendhaven when Florian was young, and he lost his whole family to it, but the town sort of boarded him in this death house and definitely affected the way Florian grew up, or I guess matured out of it, which kind of explains his first take with Johan.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like Florian had seen so much already that life was just, okay, so when you're in that stage of grief and you make really bad choices because you're kind of testing your own mortality, I feel like Florian lived in a permanent state of that.
That's a good point, because he also had kind of an unhealthy relationship with his sister before she also succumbed to the disease. And his sister was a little unhinged.
Oh yeah, she was definitely unhinged.
Not okay. A little murderous. Maybe that's another reason why he was attracted to Johan, because he kind of had a weird obsession. Whatever.
Yeah, he had a type, Florian did.
Florian definitely had a type.
Which that's gross to think about with his sister, but he had a type.
It was unhealthy in general, and I'm well aware of that, y'all. I just want to put that out there. I'm well aware it was unhealthy. Does not take away from the fact this is the most romantic story I've ever read, and I'm in love with it. So don't come at me. I already have many notes about what to discuss in therapy, okay? So calm down. We'll get to it. From the very beginning of their employee-employer relationship, Florian really tests Johan. Johan gets angry at him to the point where every once in a while, I'm like, man, Johan's really gonna just go through it. He's gonna kill him.
I thought for sure Florian was gonna die.
Yeah, but then there would be this moment where Johan would be so mad, and then it would immediately turn into lust, and he would want to just possess Florian. He would want to obsessively be with him.
Yep.
And Florian was like, okay, but like, maybe don't be a stalker.
Yeah.
He's so chill. My note says that it creates a desire in both of them
Mm-hmm.
and that they challenge each other.
Yeah.
And I think it was because they were both aberrations, you know?
Mhm.
Florian knew that there was something different about Johann because Johann shows him
Right.
that he can't die.
Yeah.
He takes him to the docks or wherever. And I think that was Florian's family's old
Oh.
because they were like
Mhm.
import-export people.
Yeah. And because him and his sister spent a lot of time there too.
Mhm.
Right. That makes sense, yeah.
So he showed him, he was like, yeah, I can't die.
Yeah.
And then they like did a bunch of experiments to see.
I know.
I was like, that's so grotesque, but also kind of romantic. Why do I find that romantic?
I know why, because it took me back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And to me, there was so much romanticism of the novel, right? So, like,
That is one of my favorite books.
I think that's what it was.
See, I was thinking maybe it had something to do with like Morticia and Gomez.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Because there's a lot of, all right, y'all, like maybe I read some fan fiction out there about Adam's family. There's a lot of stuff out there about this kind of weird obsession with the grotesquerie of the family where they push the limits of life and death.
Mm-hmm.
And Morticia and Gomez are the first love story for me.
Yeah, I think they are for me too. My first love story as far as horror goes.
I think they were probably the first love story in general that I was like, I swoon. That's not true. Wait, is it? When did I see Legend? I'll get back to that. Because
We have to talk about that, yes.
I sent Jennifer a TikTok that, I was like, okay, now I have even more questions.
Yes. I'm glad it's not just me rediscovering some things about myself.
This book was very challenging to me in a very unique way. In a way I don't think she meant it to be challenging.
I don't think so either.
So I was reading about Giesbrecht, and she actually is anti-capitalist. She's very much about bringing the system down.
Yeah.
She's a woman after my own heart, honestly, because
Yeah.
So that was actually the whole point of this story.
Yeah.
And I was like, but also it's a romance about monsters.
I picked up on the romance vibes too, because I was like, I read this all the time in my Regencies. I know this trope.
I guess that's an important thing to point out. Normally, I don't pick up on romance, y'all.
No, she doesn't.
I'm aromantic, so I don't normally read romantic tropes easily the way other people do. To the extent that when people apparently outright hit on me, it takes me, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I never figure it out. Someone has to tell me.
Because we literally just told her when someone else told her she had rosy colored eyes. Glass colored eyes.
They said that my eyes sparkled in the sunlight like glass, and I took it as that I was so exhausted that I was glassy-eyed. And then Nadine was like, the fuck is wrong with you?
And I was like, yeah, because that's what they were thinking. No, they were hitting on you.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you have to be a monster for me to be into it. Who knows?
I mean, I love it. So funny.
So the other thing that I think that I really found fascinating about the Florian-Johann dynamic is that their love is not kind. There's a lot of aggressive push and pull. It's very obsessive. It's very possessive. I was like, but it was compassionate and it was requited. So I don't know why that is so appealing to me, but this... I have theories, but this idea that the person that you're with possesses you, maybe like obsession is a field too far, but I like the idea of being possessed, of possessing someone. I have a very specific relationship with commitment. I thought I was polyamorous when I was younger because I didn't know aromantic was a thing, and then was not polyamorous and was very hurt over all that. Then I was cheated on a lot when I was young. So I have a lot of very specific feelings about commitment in relationships, and I think that was another aspect of theirs that really got to me because they never outright said they were committed to each other, but Johann was devoted to Florian.
Yeah.
He was gone on him.
He was so gone.
He was so gone to the point where there was a part in the early part of the book that Johann was talking about how the only part of the murder he didn't really like was that being touching people. But every excuse he can find, he is up on Florian.
He is so up on. He was making me a little uncomfortable because I don't like to be touched too much. And
I guess I was uncomfortable for a different reason.
I was thinking of Florian. I was like, gosh, get off of me.
Oh no, I was like, in fact, I reread a couple of scenes where I was like, that is so romantic. And I was like, oh, I want this for my life. And they were not good, Sedina. They were not good. But he would just like find reasons to caress him when they walked by. He wanted to be touching him at all times. I don't know, it was so beautiful, but in such a possessive way that normally I would find that toxic and terrible and unhealthy. But for some reason with Johann and Florian, it was beautiful.
I think because, how do I put it? I loved their relationship and the way they were with each other because there were no pretenses.
That's true. They didn't
that's
hide.
what it was, yeah.
Neither one of them them hid the fact that they were monsters from each other.
Yeah.
Because you come to find out that the Monster of Elendhaven may not be in reference to Johann.
Yeah.
So Florian, because of what happened with him and his family and the plague and the way that the city treated him and his family, he makes a plan that he is going to exact revenge on this town, and he will exhaust his wealth, he will exhaust his life, he will do whatever he needs to bring down the town and make it crumble.
Yeah.
To the point where he uses his influence and his wealth to encourage other investors to make bad investments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I like that.
Loved that part. So I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me he's broke? Wait.
And it's just, he is the ultimate con man. He has so much charisma, he has so much confidence, and even the rich people around him that got suspicious or whatever, he could always turn them around.
Yeah.
And, I mean, y'all, he had them investing in some really terrible ideas. And there's one day when him and Johann are walking on the beach, and they find all these little stones on the beach, and they call them, I'm gonna butcher this and I apologize, Halendret's Row. And Halendret is the local sea goddess of the town. And the lore is that if you find one of her row and you make a wish and you give it back to the sea will give you a companion to accomplish this wish. And when Florian was little and he lost his sister, he found a row and he made a wish for his sister to come back.
Yeah.
She did not.
No.
But he got Johann. And when he found out he got Johann, he rejected him, which is why Johann's first memories are of being rejected on the streets and being tossed aside. Florian recognizes him as his Halendret's Row child almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I think that might actually be where some of that aggressive push and pull came from.
I think so.
Because he's
struggling with it.
Yeah. There was a part of him that wanted to be with Johann, but the other part of him was like, but you're not even human.
And you're not my sister.
Yeah. You're my revenge, my grief made
personified.
Yeah. Johann didn't realize that about himself. By then he had gotten so consumed by his...
Gosh, he was so consumed by Florian.
Yes, that he didn't realize that one of the reasons why he was so obsessively, possessively gone on Florian was because he belonged to Florian.
Yeah.
He was literally made for Florian.
Yeah.
To be his device, to be his tool. And so he existed for Florian. So that became his whole existence. And I know that's so unhealthy. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, that is so unhealthy. Nobody is owed the love and affection of another person. But when you can find that relationship, when you can find that person that can give so much of themselves to you, for you, that's what I want. And I was like, that's why I'm single. Never. I mean, there's lots of reasons why I'm single. One of them because I can't tell when people are hitting on me, but...
So that part reminded me, there is this book that, okay, y'all know the Vampire Diaries, the author L.J. Smith. She wrote another series that was better than the Vampire Diaries called the Night World series. It never finished, so I don't recommend. But in it, they had this thing called a soulmate principle that was so cheesy, but I mean, I love a good cheesy romance. And it was this vampire would bite into a human and they realized they were soulmates, and it was real cheesy. And so I thought that a lot when I was reading this. Because I was like, wait, do they prescribe to this soulmate principle? Did she read L.J. Smith when she was younger?
I mean, maybe, because I felt like the story of Halendret, she gave her children to the people she thought deserved her children. And so she made Johann for Florian. And so, that felt like a soulmate connection.
Yeah.
That this goddess of the sea gave you a child because she thought you were worthy of one of her children. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
I mean, when you put it like that, yes, it is very, very beautiful.
How beautiful is that? I was just, guys, so before we finish off talking about the story, I just want to talk a little bit about the things that I struggled with.
Yes, please.
So the more I read this story and the more I realized there's two scenes where they are very passionate with one another. And they start off with a massive argument. And I think part of the argument is because Johann wants to possess Florian and Florian knows that he's not human. And so there's push and pull, but eventually Florian always gives in. And in that initial conflict, I'd be like, wow, this is a red flag. This is not healthy. And then it would become something else. And I was like, okay, but now it's okay.
They did that a lot. Right? Yeah.
And I was like, but that in of itself, that excuse that the passion and the possession later makes it okay, I was like, that's not okay.
Right, because if you saw it in two people walking down the street, you'd be like, that's a toxic relationship. Red flag, red flag, red flag.
And I began to wonder, is it excusable because Johann is not human?
Oh.
That in those moments where the conflict began and you were like, that's not good, Florian get away. But also Florian, sometimes you definitely picked at him. You really wanted to get under his skin.
I think so. And then he would push Johann away sometimes. And I was like, You're kind of playing with him a little bit.
You're doing this to piss him off on purpose, which still, to the extent that Johann could retaliate, because I was nervous. I was like, oh my god.
You know what? I didn't know if Johann was going to retaliate or if Florian was going to get really upset in his experiments of Johann and then just take him out.
Yeah, they really truly had a very toxic relationship.
So romantic.
But because Johann was literally made for him and he was of another world, there were so many romantic aspects of it that really made me swoon, and I thought it was so beautiful. And so one of my notes here is, am I a monster fucker?
Oh my god.
I was like, oh no. And then I was like, wait, is it worse? Am I a trauma fucker?
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
I got real nervous about that one.
I'm nervous for you, but like my pits are kind of sweating now.
Because I was like, I don't like that. I need to investigate that a bit more, and I need to really think about that. Because the other thing, too, I was thinking about it last night in preparation for this episode. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't like the possessiveness because it's possessive. I don't like doms. I don't want a hard dom. I don't want a soft dom. I don't want to be dominated.
Yeah.
I guess, fuck you guys. I'm going to be myself. I don't want to be dominated. And I was like, okay, so that's not what it is. It's not about the domination, because Johann definitely dominated Florian. It's like, I don't know what it is.
I think it's the acknowledgement of their darker selves within each other. They really saw each other. Like, they saw deep into each other's souls. And I think the possession that came along with recognizing each other in a sense that no one else did just created a deeper connection.
Yeah. Okay. So I was scrolling through TikTok, and TikTok's an asshole because it has me figured out already.
Yeah.
But there is a message I shared with Jennifer as I scrolled, and I was like, oh god, is this me? And the TikTok starts off as, why would anyone read monster romance? And I was like, okay. And then it shows a girl sitting down to eat and watch a movie, and it's 80s and 90s kids sitting down to watch Legend. And then it shows her, like, dropping food out of her mouth as Tim Curry as the devil starts, like, approaching the girl. And y'all, that was me when I watched that movie at like a young age. Okay, it's a very awkward story, and I apologize. But the very first time I saw Legend was at my bubby's house with my cousins. We were all sitting on the couch, and I was kind of bored with the movie. I was not into the main hero the way I thought I was supposed to be. And I really liked the girl. The girl was super attractive. But then when she was taken by Tim Curry and she was in hell and he approached her, I was like, what am I feeling? These are some confusing feelings, because I get that he's supposed to be the devil, which is not supposed to be good. But I was like, you could leave the hero behind and be with him, because he's very intense.
I had a similar encounter, but mine is with, okay, here we go. Mine is with David Bowie as the Goblin King in Labyrinth. Because yum.
So I've never seen The Labyrinth, but I feel like a lot of people in our age bracket had the same experience.
He woke me up. That's all I can say. Again, I'm going to reference L.J. Smith because it seems like she was really imparted on, well, I'm watching Vampire Diaries now, that's why. So I'm like getting into all of her books. But she has another series called The Forbidden Game.
Is that one finished?
That one is finished. It's a trio. And the villain in there is sort of written as an ode to the Goblin King. And I'm like, oh yes, stay with him. Get with him. He's the one you want. I don't know what it is about that villain.
Y'all, what is it about those villains that are not fully villains necessarily? Because like Florian had a damn good reason for wanting to bring down
Elendhaven.
Thank you. Y'all, I keep saying Eldenhaven because I'm dyslexic, but whatever. And Johann was made for that purpose.
Yeah.
So they're not really villains to me. Also, I've said it before, I'm very much a socialist at heart. The whole idea of tricking the rich into bad investments in order to crumble the economy and start anew. Yeah, I'm here for it. Y'all have heard me say many times, just start over, reboot the system. And I mean, forests have forest fires so they can get rid of all the bad brush and stuff and have rich, fertile soil, be able to start anew. That's just what that is.
Yeah.
I say it with a high-pitched voice in the hopes that you don't think I'm crazy.
They have serious thoughts about us at this point.
True.
If they haven't already, with all of our episodes before now, this one will do them in.
Yeah, this episode, I mean, this book was very, and it's not like I'm going to be 35 soon, so it's not like I didn't know these things about myself.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between like suspecting parts of yourself versus seeing it plainly on a page in front of you and getting warm, fuzzy feelings over it. And rereading a makeout scene because it gave you warm, fuzzy feelings. Like,
yeah.
That's...
It's not wrong. You're okay. You're okay.
Okay, but because I don't do that with other things. That was actually probably the first time I've ever like truly reread a scene, and I was like I even put down the book and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. I was like, but it was so aggressive in the beginning and it was so toxic. They like have a fight in the laboratory and I was like, it was kind of hot at the end.
I told Serena, this reminded me of the anime manga, which I've only watched the anime, you read the manga, of Black Butler, which is very inappropriate. But that stirred some feelings in me and I was like, I don't understand what. If I could turn red, I would.
It's good dark.
Yeah.
You know, I never really read vampire romance stories. I never read anything like that. Romance is not my shtick. But y'all, this book, everything about this book, I want to be Florian or Johan. I don't care. I just want to be one of them. I want a dark queer romance really badly.
You don't care which one you That's what gets me. You don't care. Because you're clearly Florian. Well, no, you're not clearly You're a mix of both.
I am. I'm a pretty solid mix of both of them.
Yeah, you're a good mix of both. Because like the socialist thing with Florian. Yeah, you're a good mix of both. So you need another mix of both.
Johan completely disassembled my entire image of myself.
And this one we read pretty early on. We finished this one really early.
And I have literally struggled with it since.
Yeah.
I mean, it has brought up there will be some things where I'll see it in other books or in other shows.
Yeah.
And I'll think about it and I'll put it into, y'all, it's not okay.
It's so funny to me though. Because I've never seen this side of you. That's the funny part. Because I'm like, calm, cool, collected Serena. She's not faced by nothing. She's aromantic. And I'm here like, swoon.
Not just swoon, but how do I recreate the steps of making my own? Like, how do I do this? Was this a guide? Like, how do I... Okay, and another one of my favorite scenes is when Florian has invited all the rich people to dinner to sell them on their latest thing. And Johan is grumpy and they're kind of just...
Because he's the bodyguard.
Yeah, he's the bodyguard, but he really just wants to be near Florian. Yeah. He's a sappy romantic and doesn't realize it. And things kind of start to go to shit at dinner. Yeah. And Florian is mad and Johan is like, encore! And I was like, wow, you are a dick, sir. But also, encore. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun, terrible things to watch.
That dinner was so funny.
It was so funny. I loved watching everyone lose their shit.
Yeah, and I loved reading about Johan and how grumpy he was.
Yes.
It was really cute. It was such a good one.
And I was devastated when it ended because I was like, but I want more of Florian and Johan.
I would like more. I would love more. And I wish we could get it.
I wish we could. I would watch the shit out of a show, out of a movie.
Oh, hell yes.
Yes.
I sure would too.
If they made a movie out of this or a miniseries, you know how you have those comfort watches?
Yeah.
Where you go back all the time to watch it when you're in stress? That would be my comfort watch.
What does it say about me that my comfort watch is A Nightmare on Elm Street?
A lot of not great things. Let's just be honest. Because, y'all, my comfort watches at the moment are Bob's Burgers, Futurama, and Great British Bake Off. And yours is... We're weird.
We're very weird.
You like the campy stuff, and I like the psychological trauma. But when it comes to our comfort watches, I want a cartoon. And the Great British Bake Off, I can only handle a certain level of anxiety. And someone screwing up their biscuits or their bread and going, pants. That's the best I can do.
In all fairness, my other comfort watch is Guy's Grocery Games. Okay. So, I mean...
But this Monster of Elendhaven would become my one and only comfort watch.
This might be a comfort read, too.
Yes. It's why I need to buy 2 of them so I could highlight
and
all
tab.
my... Yeah.
Yep. You need to tab your book.
And then turn it into a therapist one day and be like, let's have a conversation. Just clear your whole day. We'll be here for a while.
Clear your whole day. Oh, God. It's so funny. I didn't expect this one would be the one to get you.
I did not either. I really didn't.
I don't know which one I thought would have. Maybe Molly Southbourne. But
I mean, that was good too. But Monster of Elendhaven really...
I feel like you've read a lot of these books and you've enjoyed them, but this is the one that I feel like it really took you by surprise. It hit you over the face.
It really did. It knocked me out because I would have to stop and think about it and be like, what is going on? Not just in the book, but what is going on in my head?
Oh, this was darling.
Y'all, it's so good. Please read it. So good.
We agree that this is one of the top ones that we've read. It's
for sure.
So good.
I don't know how, but she got the perfect mix of gay, dark murder. And none of it was subtle. Like,
It wasn't. That's the thing. It was not subtle at all.
No, Johan was not subtle. He was like, I'm gonna be with you, whether you like it or not. And I was like, that's toxic. And then Florian was like, fine. And I was like, is that okay though?
Yeah. You'll find out when you have your own story and you'll let us know.
I want a monster.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And with that, I think we're gonna end.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you liked listening to us ramble on about horror, subscribe to our podcast and tell your friends. And if you would like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at LLOTL Podcast.
Check out our website by going to lastlibraryontheleft.com. Be sure to visit our About Us page to discover our 2 truths and a lie. Or, if you'd like to send us an email, you can reach us at somethingwicked@lastlibraryontheleft.com.